And staff of AM 1490 WHPV. And now, here's today's Viewpoint.
And good morning, and welcome into the Tuesday morning Viewpoint for this Tuesday morning, November the 11th, 2025, Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to you if you're a veteran and to the community. Let me again say happy birthday to a Veterans Day baby. And that is from her fiance, Napoleon, Diane Bowie. It's her birthday. I know something. That's like, I know a few Christmas babies, and she's a Veterans Day baby. And Veterans Day is one of those dates that doesn't change, right? So happy birthday to you, Miss Bowie, and may you have many, many more to come. How do you feel? 875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. Let me stop and say good morning to Sheriff Mike Grantham. Uh, you know, um, I hadn't talked to him in a minute, but he called in, I guess, a week or two ago, and so it was good to hear that he's doing well, and we want to keep him in our prayers as he's mending, and he's not following his doctor's orders. I hear he's still working, but not at the same intensity. Those jobs, man, I tell you, those are high pressure jobs, and Selma doesn't make it any easier in Dallas County. But in fact, we've got two more murders in Selma that are currently being investigated. One was Saturday night, and the other was Sunday night. The investigation on Saturday shooting that happened around 7 p.m. near the intersections of Washington Street and Philpott Avenue, where a 63-year-old William Holly of Selma was found unresponsive, suffering from a gunshot wound. Chief Kenta Fulford told news media sources that detectives are pursuing leads and conducting interviews, but no arrests have been made at this time. That is the publishing of this particular news article. And the Selma woman is dead following a Sunday night shooting. That was the shooting I was telling you about yesterday that I had not confirmed near Eugene Avenue and F.D. Reese Street off of Marie Foster. Chief Fulford says that the officers were dispatched to the scene and discovered a vehicle with a gunshot victim on its way to the hospital. The victim was identified as 34-year-old Jakesha Moore. Moore died as a result of her injuries, and a murder investigation is also underway. In that case, you can call Crime Stoppers at 215-STOP or 334-874-5894 if you know anything. If you see something, say something, give the information that may prove to be helpful. Right? Tell you what, it just seems to be a violent spirit that is just on the street. You know, now whether you are following this situation in California also, where they're reporting about a bloody fight breaking out near the University of California, Berkeley yesterday afternoon ahead of the Turning Point USA event that they had on campus. They had 2,000 students that showed up. Turning Point is experiencing an uptick in people being interested in joining. What I find really ironic about this, well, let me back up just in case you're not familiar. When I say Turning Point USA is the organization that Charlie Kirk, who was murdered and assassinated on September 10th, 2 months ago, on the campus in Utah. And so his murder or assassination has elevated him to the level of a martyr. That's what happens, when people get killed who are in the process of advocating a particular philosophy. And in Mr. Kirk's case, regardless of whether you like what he said or not, he was nonviolent. And his nonviolence and his nonviolent philosophy appears to be a threat to a lot of, oddly enough and ironically, university officials or students who, the University of California at Berkeley used to be, and it still is considered to be one of the most liberal universities in the world. And liberal used to mean tolerant of all viewpoints. Liberal was supposed to be, that's why, liberal arts, it's supposed to mean that we can have a roundtable discussion and that all viewpoints are welcomed at the table. Obviously, that is no longer the case. And what's even crazier about it for me is the kind of violence that the people who are against Turning Point, which is primarily a Christian organization that advocates marriage and families and Christianity, Christian values, nonviolent values, but they're being attacked with violence from the so-called left. So what does that say? Well, I'll tell you, it just means that there is a segment in our society, in our culture, that is bent on being violent. And it doesn't appear that any region of our nation is immune to it. Birmingham just had the most violent weekend in a while. They had 3 murders, 3 homicides within 24 hours of each other in Birmingham. I don't have to talk about Chicago. I can work with Selma had 2 this weekend. Montgomery had a record-setting number of murders, and then remember the mass shooting that took place in Montgomery. So it's not like we have to look afar for this violent spirit, and so we need to be really mindful and watchful, and and try to avoid these people that think like that. A Viewpoint, you're on there. Okay, that caller is gone now. So I guess you could say some good news is the fact that the Senate is trying to get back to work and get back to doing their jobs. They passed legislation yesterday to reopen the government, which will bring the longest shutdown in history closer to an end. But it took a small group of moderate Democrats to bring it to an end, and they're really getting, I don't want to say crucified, but pretty close to. And so now they're admitting, and many of the other members are admitting that, yeah, the Democrats have been holding this thing up, because it was the Republicans were accused of being the ones that were holding it up, but common sense and math tell the story. Now, if it were a simple majority where 51% dictated the passage of this, or the shutting down, or opening up the government, that would be one thing. But that is not the case in the Senate. It takes 60 votes. And the Democrats do not have the majority, do not have a 60-vote majority. The Republicans, it is. And so it took 8 Democrats to join them in order to reopen things. And the big deal has been Democrats are saying that the reason why they did this is because they wanted to bring the Republicans to the table to negotiate Obamacare and health care. But I thought about that thing, and when I really think about it, do you realize how long the whole healthcare and insurance uh, topic has been an issue? For decades. We've been grappling with trying to figure out how to make healthcare affordable, and it hasn't happened yet. When the Obamacare first started, the first year or so, it may have done some good for some people, but within a very short period of time, it already had started escalating in terms of cost. So this is not a new issue. This is a obviously a very complicated issue. And anytime you start dealing with these big insurance companies, who I'm sure have lobbyists in place, spending a lot of money in some way or another. I don't know how. That's, that's not what I do. We know that's what lobbyists do. And so this has been going on for a long time. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, so yesterday, Congresswoman Terry Sewell was in Selma for a SNAP day of action. She wanted to put boots on the ground to see what was happening and help out. And the first place that she stopped at was Gospel Tabernacle yesterday morning on Summerfield Road. Gospel Tabernacle Church of God in Christ. And she was able to help with giving some food out to people who had come through the drive-through. They had a drive-through on yesterday morning, and so I'm going to share some audio with you. I was able to do some interviews on yesterday, and if it sounds like I am trying to chew gum and walk at the same time, it's because I am. So what I'm going to do is play the first interview that I did yesterday because she partnered with the Self Housing Authority as the first stop. And what you hear now is that echo that I've learned how to get rid of. Let me get that out the way first. I still have a little bit of a learning curve with the live stream on YouTube every once in a while, like that happens, but I can correct that. Again, it's not like I have to wear more than one hat. Who else does that? I think I heard Chris Plant. Chris Plant said he don't know all of the hundreds of people that were fired uh, in a couple of the networks. He don't know where they come from because he only has maybe one assistant, and he's a national talk show host. So that's that's how that is. But anyway, here's the interview. Well, And that was yesterday morning at Gospel Tabernacle. And then Congresswoman Sewell went over to the Bosco Center and helped feed many of the participants. I understand that they have like a 60% increase in the number of people who have been coming in since November, since the beginning, since this governmental shutdown has started. And so I did not make the Bosco Center, but I did make the Selma Area Food Bank where they gave and did a press conference, which I will share with you after these messages.
Ron Selma sells appliances. Come check out the great buys on good quality GE and Hot Point appliances on the floor inside Gray's. They sell, deliver, install, and will haul away your old one. And Gray's on Broad simply has gorgeous furniture for every room in your home. Mattresses by Sealy, Ashley, and Capital. Financing is available. Open 9:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, 10 to 3 Saturdays. Gray's on Broad in the same location for over 60 years. Furniture so nice to come home to. Congratulations to Peak Insurance, recently voted Best Insurance Agency in the Summertime Journal Reader's Choice Awards. And a big round of applause for Lauren Adams, named Best Customer Service Representative. And for Chase Utsey, voted Best Insurance Agent.
We want to take a moment to say something very important. Thank you. Thank you to our loyal customers who continue to trust us with your insurance needs year after year. Your confidence means everything to us. I'm Owen Peak. At Peak Insurance, we're proud to be the only locally owned independent insurance agency in Dallas County. From helping you choose the right coverage to standing by your side if you ever have a claim. We represent many great insurance companies, but we work for you. We're also honored to be the exclusive representative of Auto Owners Insurance in Dallas County, along with many other top-rated carriers. So once again, from all of us here at Peak Insurance, thank you for your loyalty. Your confidence. Stop by and see us at 1003 Broad Street in Selma. Call today or visit peakinsurance.com. Peak coverage, peak service, Peak Insurance.
1490 WHBB. Now, this is the a press conference that was held yesterday at the Selma area food bank. The first 3 minutes, the audio may be a little low, but then it corrects itself. But let's see if it doesn't do what it needs to do. I'll switch and go to the second half of the press conference.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Terry Sewell, and I proudly represent Alabama's 7th Congressional District. I'm so excited. Today has been our SNAP Day of Action right here in my hometown of Selma, Alabama. We started off the day with the Gospel Tabernacle of Praise. They were actually passing out food, and it was just remarkable to see the number of people that have been affected by the chaos that has been the government shutdown. No one wins in a government shutdown. We start by saying that. Nobody wins in a government shutdown. I think it's particularly clear that this administration did not use the contingency fund that was set for the USDA to be able to fully fund during government shutdowns like SNAP. Nevertheless, I want folks to know that we are blessed in our communities to have amazing organizations, nonprofits, food banks, pantries that have really, churches that have stood in the gap. And I have been going around my district to highlight those amazing service providers and the folks that are really standing in the gap to make sure that we don't have hungry children, seniors, disabled. In Alabama alone, 700,000 Alabamians depend upon SNAP benefits in order to be able to feed their families, to be able to feed themselves. And of that 750,000, 58,000 households reside in the Alabama 7th Congressional District, and I'm so honored to be able to serve and represent. So we started our day by actually giving out, distributing boxes to needy families. Then we went to the Ebonite Mission, and the Ebonite Mission has just done an amazing job of providing meals every day, lunch and dinner. And I was able to not only witness it firsthand, but to actually serve my constituents. And that was really an honor to be able to physically give food to those people who amazing fried chicken sandwich. They're really good, really good. Um, and then we ended here at the Selma Area Food Bank. I just want to say again, thank you, Ryan Johnson, who is the director, and I want to thank Chris Spencer, who is the CEO of the Black Belt Foundation, both of whom are amazing community providers. They've done a great job of not only providing food, but education and so much more at the Black Belt Foundation. And so for me, this is an opportunity to really showcase what's available in Selma, Dallas, and surrounding area. And I want to really thank you, Ryan, for the opportunity to be right here at the Selma Area Food Bank. It gives us an opportunity to really showcase all the, the items, but also what we do day in, day out. And I would love for you to have an opportunity to talk about that because we want to make sure we support what's in your community.
Certainly. Thank you, Congresswoman. It truly is an honor to be the director of the Selma Area Food Bank. One of the greatest opportunities that I have as the director of this great place is that after 30 plus years of ministry and outreach in the food sector of food banking, this place is still going strong. And we believe that through the agencies that we partner with, those 50 agencies that the Selma Area Food Bank partners with, that's really the front.
Okay, that call is on. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Is it my equipment or your equipment? Everything just sounds so weak this morning because all of the what I'm looking at on TV and everything just it's coming from your end or from our end.
I don't know. Depends on which part of the morning you were listening. If you were listening, I just said that the first 2 minutes of Congresswoman Sewell, the audio was low, but that has changed. And so you can, and then she was speaking kind of low, and they didn't they didn't have a speaker. So we had to, go, and my microphone was not near the podium like I usually have it. But you'll hear the difference when I'm with the rest of this press conference I'm getting ready to play. Thank you. Let me go ahead and finish. Thank you for calling. And here we go. We'll continue with Mr. Ryan Johnson, the director of the Selma Area Food Bank.
To Dallas County, that's adds 5 or 6 more, and then 50 total in Dallas, Marengo, Perry, and Wilcox County. Those 50 front doors, if you will, churches, nonprofits, individuals, families, other organizations, help us give out almost 2 million pounds of food a year. And it's encouraging to have a team of organizations that partner with us, like BBCF. It's encouraging to have an amazing team of volunteers that come in and work to help us pack boxes and distribute boxes. It's also great to have a wonderful staff. Our staff has worked tirelessly over the government shutdown to keep up with what's really been a 30 to 35% increase in demand upon us and our agencies as well. And I just want to commend my staff for fighting hard and doing a great job at this time.
Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning, Randy.
Good morning. How are you?
All right. I want to say happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. Do you know what time is the veterans?
11 o'clock. It's always 11 o'clock on the 11th day of the 11th month.
11 o'clock at the stadium?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. I just wanted to know.
Okay. You're quite welcome. See you there. All right. Okay. 875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And again, of course, today is Veterans Day, and the Veterans Day program at Memorial Stadium is at 11 o'clock. It's always the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour. That is, I believe, the recorded time and date of the end of World War I.
And I just want to tell the community, thank you for your partnership. The spotlight of advocacy is on the need for hunger and food insecurity right now. And may we take that spotlight and really do a great job moving forward with it into the future.
Absolutely. talk about taking a spotlight and highlighting the importance of things in our community. I just really want Chris Spencer to have an opportunity. He's the president of the Black Belt Community Foundation. You wear many hats in BCF, and we are just so grateful that you're embedded in our community. I know you serve the same four counties that he does and others, so we'll give you an opportunity just to talk about the Black Belt Community Foundation.
I'd like to say good afternoon to everyone, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be at the food bank here in Selma, and also with Congresswoman Terry Sewell. The Black Belt Community Foundation serves 12 counties in the rural Black Belt, to include Dallas County. There's over 18,000 families that are impacted by SNAP benefits. So we have a clarion call to the community, to nonprofits, to faith institutions, government institutions to give at this time. This emergency food crisis have actually put a spotlight on the Black Belt again. Once again, these food banks have been in place for some time now. We fund food banks and food pantries across the Alabama Black Belt region, and we're calling for everyone to give. Look out for your neighbor and do the work that we need to do to be neighborly. Thank y'all so much.
Again, I just want to thank both organizations for literally standing in the gap. This gives me an opportunity to talk about those community organizations that have been here for years, but to bring to the fore the fact that they're standing in the gap during this time of need when it comes to providing for the hungry. Let us not forget, I know we were talking about SNAP beneficiaries, but let's not forget the thousands of federal employees who are working without pay and have been working without pay for over 40 days. To say thank you doesn't seem to be enough. I want them to know that these organizations are there to help anyone that's in need, and that this is an opportunity for them also to find out what's available in our community. We in Alabama are blessed to have a giving community. We box above our weight in United Way annual contributions. I think that we rank in the top 5 of the states that actually give, and so at this time we're just asking the communities to dig a little deeper, to give not only non-perishable canned goods to various food banks and pantries, but also to give of your time to help box to make those boxes for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for the weekly distributions that you have, and to also give of your money. All of these organizations receive contributions, and you can go to their websites in order to give. The website for Selma Food Area Pantry or
That's right.
Bank as well.
If people have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, 334-872-4111. You can also reach us by email at info@selmafoodbank.com. You can go to our website, www.selmafoodbank.com. If you are somewhere across Alabama outside of our 4 counties, go to feedingalabama.org and click on the Food Finder. Enter your physical address, and you will be directed to great resources all across our wonderful state and our great network of the 8 food banks that serve under the Feeding Alabama umbrella.
Yeah, and I also just want to remind people that you can also dial 211, which is a national, service that will actually contact or connect you with organizations in your own community. The Black Belt Community Foundation, how can we reach out and help?
You can reach out to our Food to Families campaign by going to our website, www.blackbeltfound.org, or you can call 874-1126, 334-874-1126.
So I just wanted to just also acknowledge that there are several court cases that are going on that will will come to some resolution. In fact, the Supreme Court stayed the request of this administration to halt having to fully fund SNAP. I mean, I just can't imagine that any administration would want to stop the funding of food to needy children, to needy families, to needy seniors. I just wanted to also remind people that the face of SNAP for our district, the face of SNAP are children. Over 70% of the households that receive SNAP benefits in our district have children under the age of 16. There are seniors, there are lots and lots of seniors that really are part of the SNAP beneficiary. As I said before, it's not just SNAP, it's also federal employees who are not getting paid. But when I also think about SNAP, I think about the working poor. So many of the folks that receive SNAP beneficiaries actually work 40 hours a week. I think it goes to show you that in America, we need a livable wage, not just a minimum wage. And so the need is great. The fact that the Selma Area Food Bank is seeing a surge of over 30% more is evident of that. And so my job is not only to represent you in Washington, but to represent you right here in our district by making sure that I am convening those service providers that can help out and stand in the gap, and to highlight them and to give them an opportunity to stand before you and let you know what they need in the community. And so thank you for the opportunity to do that. No matter what happens with these court cases, it will take at least a week or two for the payment system of the federal government to kick in to start paying back these federal employees, to start paying back the SNAP benefits. So no matter what happens with these court cases, the fact that the SNAP benefits did not go out November 1st means that there will take time for those SNAP benefits to start up again. But we're blessed to have amazing folks standing in the gap. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
Have you experienced an increase of requests from either organizations and individuals and new people that you haven't been servicing before November 1st?
Yes, on both of those. We have had multiple organizations reach out across our 4-county service area. Right now, the food stock that we have, we're dedicating it to the existing 50 front doors that we have, and we're asking people, hey, hang with us. As emergency food and extra food comes in, we'll call you back, we'll schedule you. But we're hoping long-term people will hang with us and become that next level, get us from 50 to 60 front doors or to 70 front doors as that advocacy spotlight continues to grow.
Can individuals come to you themselves, or do you work through organizations?
They're welcome to call our 334-872-4111 number on our phone tree. If they'll go to number 5 on that phone tree, they'll have a list of organizations and upcoming mobile pantries. We really refer individuals in the community to our agencies first as the front doors, and then we support those agencies with all the resources that they can handle on the back end of things.
And it's really great today to start at one of the agencies. Gospel Tabernacle of Praise has been an agency, a church that has served as a front door to providing food and distributing food to those in need. Any other questions? Well, thank you for coming out today, and I want to again thank both the Black Belt Community Foundation and the Selma Area Food Bank for what you do day in and day out to help the people of Alabama 7th Congressional District and to all the counties that you serve. We are blessed to have you in our district.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And that was how that press conference went on yesterday. The first 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, the audio was not what it should have been. But as you heard, it corrected itself, and so it got. And I will have to go. I haven't had a chance to edit, and so I'll go back and edit those first 3 minutes, and then upload it to YouTube into the selmapostherald.com. But I think it's noteworthy that the Selma Housing Authority partnered with Gospel Tabernacle Church for the first portion of the food giveaway, and they did a drive-through. And I understand the Housing Authority has a food truck now. And I saw Mr. Kennard Randolph, Mr. President Kennard Randolph on yesterday. And I meant to ask him about the food truck, but I didn't. I'll do it another time. The new president of the Selma City School Board, Ms. Cicely Curtis, was there yesterday morning. She had to leave after a little while. So I think I had intended to interview her, but she left before I could interview her. but when she was just here last week, right? And so we'll get a chance to talk about, and because she wears more than one hat, she also has the Selma Housing Authority responsibilities, and so they have a food, a desert mission. And so we'll get into that one day soon as well. Then Mr. Chris Spencer, who is the new president of the Black Belt Community Foundation, and Mr. Ryan Johnson, the executive director of the Selma Area Food Bank. This is what they do on a regular basis. I think Congresswoman Sewell said that of the 750,000 people in the state of Alabama receiving SNAP benefits, 58,000 of those reside in the 7th Congressional District in the Black Belt. And so, but still, that's a significant number of people outside of the Black Belt who receive SNAP benefits as well. We know that the Bosco Center every day, 365 days, they don't just wait until Thanksgiving and Christmas. They serve people every day. And so this period that we're going through now has been an increased burden on them. And so we want to thank the Edmondites for all of the work and good work that they do as well. So it sounds like, we're kind of dealing with it, but quite naturally, no one wants to see the government shut down. There's a lot of talk about being able to, at one point or someday, introduce some legislation that does not allow for any issue, to be used as a bargaining chip to shut the government down. That's ludicrous. But I guess it almost reeks of desperation. And so but these things actually, that's Washington. And unfortunately, regardless of what party you belong to, whether you're Democrat or Republican, it's becoming increasingly difficult to have a voice in national politics. Before we take this break, I want to remind you about a town hall meeting coming up this Thursday, November 13th, in Selmont at Tipton Durant Middle School, featuring Commissioner Connell Towns and the new superintendent of Dallas County Schools, Dr. Corey Jones. This meeting starts at 6 p.m. Topics of discussion include meeting the newly appointed superintendent, Dr. Corey Jones, who will address all educational concerns the community may have. This is going to be at the Tipton Durant Middle School this Thursday at 6 p.m. And quite naturally, it involves any issues related to Southside Elementary, Southside High School, or Tipton Durant Middle School as well. And then, you got a whole county, y'all. We got Dallas County High School and Keith High School, and I could go on and on and on, but I think you know what's in Dallas County. Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more right after this.
We're with Barry Parker at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC. Now, Barry, some folks have said they ain't but 2 seasons, football season and hunting season.
And we're right in the middle of football season. So come on down, folks. If you're getting ready to head out to a high school game or a college game, or maybe even a NFL game, we've got to rise for you from something in good gas mileage all the way up to the big Tahoes and Yukons and Suburbans and Yukon XLs. Or you might want to go in a pickup truck. We got you covered there too. So whatever you're looking for when it comes to traveling, we can fix you up in a brand new Chevrolet or GMC here on the lot, ready to go, ready for you to come in and pick out the one that you want to drive today.
And of course, you're not going to let anybody beat the deal that's offered here at Reliable. We've got the computer, and we'll put in all the information, and it'll spit out the best possibility for you.
That's right, George. We're not going to sit here and talk about you saving tens and 20 of thousands of dollars. We're going to say, hey, Come in, sit down with us, pick out the unit that you want. We're going to put your zip code in and the unit that you choose, and we're going to let your computer show you all the different choices that you have in saving money right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
And don't forget about the great selection of pre-owned automobiles. A great selection of makes and models and price ranges for you to come by and take a look at today.
All service and ready to go. We can do the financing for you, set up with all the major banks and credit unions, and of course, GM Financial. We can handle it all. As I say all the time, we're a one-stop shop.
Reliable Chevrolet and GMC.
14th Lawrence Street, downtown Selma. Phone number 872-2337, or check us out on our website at reliablegmc.com.
Auburn basketball coach Bruce Pearl has a challenge for you.
Be an MVP to a child in need by opening your heart, opening your home, and becoming a foster or adoptive parent in Alabama. I know so many folks that are. They tell me it's one of the greatest things they've ever done.
To learn more about becoming a foster or adoptive parent, visit dhr.alabama.gov. That's dhr.alabama.gov. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
1490 WHBB. Let's switch gears for a minute and go into a lighter side of the news, and that would be sports. The Alabama High School Athletic Association playoffs, round 2, will be this Friday. And of course, I'm going to skip right into Class 3A because Southside will be hosting Cottage Hill for the second round of the Alabama High School Athletic Association playoffs. And so Southside is currently undefeated, and they've been playing pretty strong. They've got all kinds of stats. In fact, Ambassador Bruce Holmes gave a breakdown on the number of yards, that Southside's quarterback and some of their receivers breaking all kinds of records. And this is the first time also that in Southside school history, they had an undefeated season. So, go Panthers, huh? Now going up to Class 1A, it will be Maplesville at McIntosh, Southern Choctaw at University Charter, Autauga Academy at McKenzie, and Linden at Leroy. Then in Class 2A, Laverne at GW Long. In Class 3A, as I said earlier, of course, Cottage Hill at Southside, Selma, Trinity at Glenwood, Lee Scott at Montgomery Academy. In the Class 4A, Jackson at American Christian. In Class 5A, Vigor at Northside, Northport, Montgomery Catholic at Shelby County, Williamson at Elmore County. In Class 6A, Theodore at Benjamin Russell, Bessemer City at Pike Road in Class 6A. In Class 7A, it will be Mary Montgomery at Thompson, Central Phoenix City at Fairhope, Auburn at Daphne, and Baker at Opelika. In the Alabama Independent School Association playoffs, the semifinal for Class AAA, Southern Academy at Chambers Academy, and Banks Academy at Lowndes Academy, and then Wilcox Academy at Abbeville Christian, and South Choctaw Academy at Patrician Academy. I remember the late former Mayor George Evans used to say that sports brings people together. It's the one thing usually, every once in a while, though, you still have somebody that will try and politicize an issue, on the football field or on the basketball court or on the baseball diamond, or some other sport. But for the most part, sports is something that we can all enjoy and do together, right? Let's take this last break. I'll be back with more right after these messages.
This Body Shop reminds you the white-tailed deer can do some damage to your vehicle. If you hit a deer and need repair, call Hughes Body Shop, 334-875-4470. Your deer damage vehicle repair specialist, Hughes Body Shop.
Hello, everybody. G-Man here. Did you know that Alabama is located in what is known as the stroke belt? Right here in our listening area, 43.4% prevalence of adults who repeatedly suffered from high blood pressure. Other risk factors include high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, and smoking, which can all lead to serious health problems and even death. I was one of those who used to pay very little attention until I had another heart attack and had a really hard time walking due to blockage in my circulatory system. I thank the good Lord every day that my physician referred me to AVS, Alabama Vascular Specialist, for Dr. Ralph Red, Dr. Irwin White Giddens, and Dr. Richard Tan. Lead a team of professionals that truly care about their patients and get to the root of their patients' vascular problems. Then provide the care needed to get them on the road to recovery. If it weren't for AVS, I don't know if I would be here talking to you today. 334-801-9952. Check them online at alabamavascularspecialist.com.
Is your business protected against cyber attacks, viruses, malware, or ransomware? How much would it cost for your business to be shut down for a couple of days if one of these attacks were to happen and you lost all of your customer and billing data? One of the worst cyber attacks right now is ransomware, which literally holds all of your files for a large ransom. And these attackers are wanting big money to unlock your files, from $5,000 to $10,000 and much more. These ransoms also have to be paid by Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, a very difficult task in and of itself. If you're not prepared, you could be looking at several days of lost time and wages, along with the frustration for yourself, your employees, and your customers. With the right plan in place, the risk of your business experiencing such an attack can be greatly minimized by protecting your network, computers, and servers, along with a comprehensive backup plan. Computer and Data Network Services has the tools and the experience to custom tailor a solution that best fits your needs. Call us today for an appointment to discuss what we can do for you. Call us at 334-874-8324. That's 334-874-8324.
1490 WHBB. I'm going to read comments that were published by Mayor Johnny Moss III on his Facebook page. But first, let's go back to the phone line. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Yeah, man, since you're going to read that, I'll try to make this pretty quick. This is what I want to say. For those of you who know, I know, that are responsible for Clarence Thomas being in the probate, being as a Chief Justice, because I had that conversation years ago with the local historian, what is his name, Cecil Williamson. So if you have any information or knowledge as to what that was all about when the pre-clearance, the conversation I had, when the pre-clearance was necessary for the gutting of the Voters' Rights Act, please share that, because this is a time for all of us to really grow from the era of our past. And I know you did it for your own benefit in the long run, long term, but you're hurting the people who fought for that right and injustices. You see, when I first came back, God directed my footsteps. When I came back to this area, I happened to be in an environment where people connived in order to get the support of Clarence Thomas being placed on the Jewish judgeship. And I have a lot of grievances about the games that I saw that our citizens join in blindly. And sometimes maybe not so blindly, but to participate in order to make our world this turmoil that we're experiencing now. You know who you are. I know who you are. So the point is, and I know quite a few are deceased, but I wish I had had more conversation with Cecil Williamson, since he was the one who I did have a conversation about the pre-clearance situation. What is happening in our nation, what is happening in our world today is a result of our media.
Well, let me ask you this, since you bring it up. How has the pre-clearance stopped Black African Americans rather from registering to vote and voting in Selma?
it has caused the ignorance to grow, the confusion. Mr. Cecil Williamson's listening, and I don't want you to defend his.
No, but I had the same conversation with them. I understand what their concern was about pre-clearance. They couldn't get every time they couldn't do anything without the Justice Department signing off on it.
But I want you to do, I want you to argue for the specific position because I know where your position is going to come from. I'm not somebody that might have
a different position. I hear you want to hear somebody's going to hear, say what you want to hear. Okay, look, I got to get ready to go. Thank you for calling. Because I want to read this statement from Mayor Moss. But I will say this before I move on to that, and that was when I was executive director for Campaign for a New South back in the 80s here in Selma, which was responsible for the Black Belt. I participated in stopping and voicing opposition to Judge Bork. And boy, you talk about, and there were a lot of groups and organizations that crossed the line in terms of trying to stop his that successfully stopped his nomination. In fact, it was because of some of the techniques that were used in the Bork nomination that persist until today, which is one of the reasons why that whole nomination process gets nasty. Now, that's where I was in the 80s. Now, fast forward to 2025, I like to think that I've grown. And certainly one area that I grew in was appreciating the fact that there's nothing wrong with having a conservative African-American judge on the Supreme Court. The first African-American judge on the Supreme Court was Thurgood Marshall. He was liberal, and he oftentimes influenced his conservative judges on the bench to go along with him on decisions, but the key word is persuaded. He didn't force. He didn't intimidate. He had a right to be his opinion, and he had a right to have a liberal philosophy in his approach to the legal system. In fact, some would argue that Judge Thomas, is an asset to African Americans because he has a conservative viewpoint of the Constitution and the law. So it's a lot of different ways to look at that. And like I say, in terms of the Voting Rights Act, the Supreme Court said it is not their responsibility. They threw it back to Congress. The Congress is the one that has to come up with the correct formula, update their formula, because the landscape, the political landscape in 2000, when that decision in Alabama was made, that they responded to, where they allegedly gutted, they said they gutted the Voting Rights Act. They said, first of all, the number of Black elected officials in 2000 is not the same as it was in 1965. There was one Black congressman in 1965, Adam Clayton Powell. Now we have a Black caucus. So the Supreme Court said, you got to change the formula. You got to reflect, update it to where we are, right? Mayor Johnny Moss was responding to the recent murders. I'm glad he did because, you know, Mayor Reed, very rarely when something happens, does he not respond and console the community. Mayor Moss says there was another senseless murder in our city last evening. My heart goes out to the victim's family and to everyone affected by this tragic and unnecessary loss. Selma is tired of the constant gunfire in our streets, tired of living in fear, and tired of watching lives cut short by senseless violence. This cannot continue. I have spoken with our police chief, and while we have not yet adopted a formal plan, we will meet over the next few days to develop a clear and decisive strategy. This plan will focus on strengthening patrol presence, improving coordination, and ensuring accountability at every level. I want our citizens to know that this administration takes these acts seriously and is committed to restoring peace and security to every neighborhood in Selma. But the government alone cannot do it. It will take all of us working together to make Selma safe again. We will not accept violence as our new normal. We will comfort, address, and overcome it together. Mayor Johnny Moss III. I'll see you tomorrow morning, the good Lord willing. Stay tuned for Fox News, already in progress. It's 9 o'clock.
An extension of Obamacare subsidy set to expire December 31st, driving the cost of coverage higher for millions of Americans. What happens at the end of January if there's a stalemate over